Okay, so just to wrap everything up, I'm just going to do a quick run through from start to finish. So basically, we've got two main folders that we're dealing with. One folder in which we go to these places when we want to create new work, and we've got another folder here where we can use the views to manage our current work. So we don't need to create work inside of the active work folder, and we don't need to manage work really through the create work folder. So we start off with the project backlog. Things are entered in as items for consideration. They will then, through a process, will be approved for the backlog. This can be as long as we like. It doesn't mean that these are things that we are working on today or tomorrow or even necessarily next week, but that we do intend to work on. Shelved are things that we've sort of considered, but for the moment we've chosen not to work on. When projects are finished, they're placed in the done folder by the project owner. Once things are moved across into the in focus column, which is the column, again, that is what the entire company, these are the projects that we're wanting to sort of finish and work on. They will then appear, these projects will appear as column headings inside the in focus project planning if and only if there isn't a project owner assigned to it. If there is no project owner, then they will not be appear here. So once that's there, we create a new task when we initiate a project, and we put the start date. If we're starting the project today, we can put today's date, and then we assign that task to the project owner, and we set the status to done. All that does is just allows these calculations to occur. So it's not something that's meaningful to our work going on, but it's just something we just create the task, do that, and then it's gone and out of our way. That's the way that we start a project. We add the start date. Then we can go and we can add this work. Work here, you'll be prompted with that we need an assignee, it needs a due date, and it needs a time estimate. Any tasks, we can either complete that information in this view, or we can go to tasks lacking information. You can see we've got all of these things, and we can complete the deadlines for this, or if it needs a time estimate or an assignee prompt. So we keep this view empty at all times. If we're adding non-project tasks, we do so here. We add that will then require that same information. It needs a deadline, it must have a time estimate, and it must have someone assigned to it. Otherwise, it will appear in the tasks lacking information. Once all of that information is there, it will appear for the person that it's assigned to inside of their backlog view here, and this is sorted in order of oldest deadline date first, and then moving down. So then we've got the recurring work, which I mentioned we don't have to work with yet, but we're going to be planning that out and putting that into using these templates. You don't really need to know how the templates work. That's like a set and forget type thing. So we can just set it up, and once we've set it up, all we need to do is add the recurring work in this way. Once again, when we add recurring work by creating a new project, opening it up and generating all of those tasks, these tasks will not automatically have a deadline. We'll need to come into task lacking information and manually add those deadlines. That then brings us to our work column. If we're passing things to other people, we then need to fill out the field input required. Their input is required. We need to change the state to asked, and we put a comment in with our question, so when they receive it, they know what we're talking about. That will have the task appear in their others awaiting on me list, showing that you've asked that question. Once that appears there, I'm going to start a new video here because I'm out of my time limit, so I'll continue in a moment.